Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com. This is going to be your Let's Get Ready for the week ahead, July 8th through July 12th. And we do have a full week ahead of us. Hope everybody had a good shortened week, a good holiday. So, as you can see from the New York Post here, Dow tumbles from all-time highs as solid jobs report stokes the Fed fears. Now, if I was to write that article, I would say, stock market slightly lower on jobs report Friday. Okay, I think that would be a little bit more accurate. So the Nasdaq was down 9 points. The Dow Jones 30 was minus 44, and the transports minus 38. S&P 500 minus 5. Now we did actually bounce back, and I'll show you that in the charts in a moment from the lows on Friday. But it was a 4-day shortened week. It was July 4th holiday in the United States. We did get the jobs number on Friday, but the buyers did come in and buy the dip. But here's some of the actual numbers for that Friday. The non-farm payrolls came in at 224, so a little bit hotter than expected. So that kind of puts the Fed rate cuts on hold. We think unemployment rate expecting 3.6, actual 3.7. Average hourly earnings expected 0.3, only came in at 0.2, so that was a little bit softer than expected. And the average work week expecting 30.44 and 34.4, so that came right in on the money here. These numbers coming in from the trade exchange, Newsbox, the trade exchange. And then I'll show you some of the news that we had come out on Friday, and then we'll go into some of the charts and some of the markets and sectors. We'll look at some stocks and things like that. But here was some comments made on Friday. President Trump, if the Fed cut rates, it would help the economy. These comments coming out Friday. President Trump, Fed does not know what they're doing. And then we also had President Trump announcement is going to be coming up on drug prices. So I'll show you some of the drug stocks that dropped on Friday. And so that was some of the news that was moving the markets around on Friday. And that courtesy of the trade exchange. So let's go ahead and look at our heat map from Friday, as we like to look at the heat map each and every day. This from Finviz. So as you can see, after those comments made by President Trump, a lot of the larger pharma stocks were getting hit. J&J down 1%, Pfizer dropping 1%, Merck almost down 1.5%. AbbVie got hit for 3%. Lilly got hit for 1.5%, and Bristol Myers also getting hit for 1.44%. So that, Merck is in the Dow, Pfizer's in the Dow, J&J is also a Dow stock, so that pushed the Dow down a bit. As far as the banks, because the jobs number came in a little bit hotter, the banks were perking up a little bit. The XLF was up, the KRE, as you can see, JP Morgan, Bank America, WFC, Citigroup also up 0.75%, with maybe taking Fed cuts for the interest rates off the table for now. So the banks were getting some buying on Friday. So that's your heat map from Finviz for Friday. Let's see. So as far as Friday, the thing that I wanted to show you, this is a intraday chart of the SPY. It has pre-post market information on it. These charts are from TC2000. But here was the bounce, all right around this 296 area on the SPY. So we opened up and we were straight down until about 10:30, 10:45 in the morning. And then the bulls showed up and started to buy the dip here right around 296, 295, 75 in that area. So that's a number we're going to have to watch going forward next week. If the bears can break this down, you could see some more selling. Now, on these charts, I keep, you see these different colors colored lines. This is my 5 EMA off my daily chart. As you can see, the bulls did get us back above the 5 EMA on Friday and pushed us back up near all-time highs. Into the close, we sold off a little bit here in the after hours. Nothing much going on Friday. Down below is the 10 SMA that comes off my daily chart. And when I show you the daily chart of the SPY, I'll go over it again. But this blue line here, that's the 10 SMA. That's around 294.25, we'll call it. So we're not close to that. And we did recapture this 5 EMA. It's a major moving average on my charts. Shows that the momentum is still intact. So for right now, I'd have to say nice recovery by the bulls here. And, I would lean towards the bullish side for right now. Now, if we start knocking down some of these momentum moving averages, the 10, here's the 20, then things could get a little bit hairy out there and weakness could show up again. Let's go ahead and look at this on the daily chart, and we'll go ahead and look at this without all those lines. Here's the SPY. So once again, we came down, we touched the 5 EMA, around that 5 EMA area, recovered, and we're just below all-time highs here, and then we're still holding above these momentum moving averages, as I mentioned. We're still holding above our 50. We have a flat 200 SMA here, but not to worry about that right now, as bulls are defending the faster moving averages at this current time. Let's go ahead and look at some of the action after President Trump made those comments. This is your IBB. So we got a little bit of selling coming into the IBB, as you can imagine, with Pfizer, Merck, and J&J, and those companies, Bristol Myers, moving down. The XBI, which is some of the smaller biotech stocks, also pulled back a little bit on Friday. We'll check some of the other sectors. The SMH, after a nice push up on the China news last week, the SMH, a three-stick pullback here down to the 10 SMA. Looks like dip buyers are showing up here on the 10 SMA. The low for the SMH currently is around 109.60, 109.50. So keep an eye on that if you're watching the SMH to see if those lows get taken out, then maybe we come back down. Test this 20 SMA, test this 50 SMA, which 50 SMA currently on the SMH is at 107.32. So we'll call it 107. All right. So if this gets breached, then maybe we head down to about that 107 area on the SMH. But right now we just have a three-stick pullback after a nice breakout run above the 50 SMA. Oil, USO, holding up okay, still below the 200 SMA. Let's look at light sweet crude oil, WTI oil. We remain below the $60 a barrel range, but we are holding within this range of $55 up to about that $60 a barrel on light sweet crude oil. A little bit of a recovery in oil on Friday, so a little bit of a push up. Like we mentioned, the XLF was up on Friday. The larger banks like Citigroup, JP Morgan, KRE was also climbing a little bit on Friday and starting to get back above the 200 SMA. Now we do have some topping tails here on the regional bank ETF. We have a high here of 54.38 and an additional high here of 54.46. So we'll call it 54.50. Bulls probably want to get that over 54.50. And for the XLF, it looks like it's starting to clear these recent highs back here. We had a high on the XLF of 28.12, so we're at 28.16. The high from Friday was 28.27. So keep an eye on that 28.27 number. If we start to take that out, you could see some further continuation in the XLF. Once again, names like JP Morgan, Citigroup, Bank America, WFC, and also regional banks such as Zion, ZION, and HBAN, HBAN. A bank that has been very strong, ALLY, broke out last week, got up over this $30 area, Ally Financial, and has been slowly but pushing up here. It's up here at 32, but a nice move by this bank here by Ally Financial. So let's go ahead and look at some of the sectors that were positive for the week. We had Nat Gas making a little bit of a comeback for the week, up almost 4% on the week. TAN, the solar sector ETF, keeps climbing here, up near new all-time highs on TAN. That was up almost 4% on the week. The software sector continues to move up. The PSJ moving up over 3%. The IGV also, the software sector moving up 3%. The IYR, which is the real estate index, the REITs, that was up 2.75% for the week. Hack, the cybersecurity ETF, was up just a little under 2.75%. Social had a good week. Such names as Twitter, Facebook, Snap. Social was up a little over 2% for the week. The Qs were climbing this week, up over 2%. The SPY for the week up 1.86% for the week. To the downside, the VIX lost more steam for the week, down 12%. We do have about a 13 handle on the VIX, still well below the 20 handle on the VIX. JNUG for the week was down 4%. SLV silver down 1 and about 2% for the week. Oil for the week was down over 1.5%. The XOIL, OIH, the oil services sector, dropping 1.33% last week. Such names as Schlumberger, Halliburton, Rig, etc. Some sectors in the S&P 500 that did well. The airline sector had a good week, up 3.3%. The banking sector for the week was up 2%. We had the XLY, consumer discretionary, that was up 2%. The XLP also climbing over 2%. The XLC, the communications sector, this was up almost 2.5% for the week. And the technology sector, the XLK, was up a little under 2.5% for the week. Some of your larger stocks, some of your best larger stocks for the week that passed. We had Ameren up almost 20% on the week. Ameren having a very good week. They came out and increased their guidance for 2019 on this name, so a strong week for them. EIDX climbing 18% for the week. We had Symantec, this one jumping 15% for the week. Takeover chatter around this name from Broadcom, so that pushing that one up. ZYNE was also climbing 14% for the week. Coop in the software space had a very good week, up a little under 9%. ZS also in the software space, up for the week about 8% for the week. Climbing. Roku coming back, bouncing back, up for the week on Roku, up 8%. MTCH up about 7%. So that's some of your larger names that were up this week percentage-wise. To the downside, Solely, recent IPO taking a hit, down 22% for the week. FNKO dropping 10% this week. Lyft dropping this week, down 10% for the week. Electronic Arts took a hit, down 7-8% for the week on Electronic Arts. Love, a recent IPO, this one dropping 6% for the week. CC, this company, specialty chemical company, dropping 12% for the week on CC. So that's some of your weaker stock. Over in the lower priced stocks, some of the weak stocks, PHUN taking a hit this week, down 30%. Vuzi had some negative. I think they did an offering this week, down 24% on that one. CETX getting hit 23%. So in some of your smaller names, SESN also taking a hit of 18%. To the plus side, in the smaller names, Fuel Cell had a fantastic week. Now it's an under $1 name, so the percentages can be a little deceiving here, but they did have a good week, up over 344% on that name. OASM, which we actually traded Friday in the service at ZoZoStockWatch, this one climbing 97% on OASM. They reached an agreement with their primary shareholder to solve its outstanding balances. So that's what got OASM moving up this week. We also had TYME up on Friday. This one had news updated data from its phase 2 for pancreatic cancer on TYME. So for the week, this stock jumping 19% for the week. DOVA had a good week this week, DOVA. This stock jumping 14% for the week. This got an outperform at Evercore, so that's what got that one moving up. And then we had KPTI. We traded this also last week at Zozo Stockwatch, KPTI. This stock jumping 47% for the week. KPTI, they had got FDA approval on one of their products, so that one moving that one up. We also had Friday, CRVS was very strong. This stock for the week was up 73% for the week, 74% for the week on CRVS. UMA is at the top, basically because they did a split, a reverse split, so that's what puts them at the top of the list on UMA. EROS was climbing a little bit this week, up 32% for the week, and TBLT also starting to turn the corner here. It's an under 50-cent name. That stock was jumping 31% for the week. KEG over in the oil space was jumping 29%. NEO jumping this week up 28%, starting to turn the corner there. Volume coming in. DBVT also jumping this week up 27%. Maxair, MAXR, takeover chatter around this name, up 25% for the week. And shippers were climbing this week. We had Salt moving up 24%. SB, safe bulk shippers, this stock jumping 22% for the week. So that's some of your stocks and the smaller stocks that were moving. As you can see, this earnings calendar for the month of July from Earnings Whisper. Earnings kickoff on July 15th with Citigroup kicking us off on that Monday, July 15th. But we do have some earnings coming up this week. You get Pepsi, you get Levi's, LEVI, recent IPO will be reporting after the bell on Tuesday, WD-40. Bed Bath & Beyond will be reporting Wednesday after the close, BBBY on that name. Pepsi, if I didn't mention it, PEP symbol there for Pepsi. Delta Airlines before the bell on Thursday. DAL is the symbol there for that airline. No earnings after the close for Thursday, and then Friday we get Info Systems reporting Friday before the bell. So still a little bit light in the earnings next week. We really do start to kick off July 15th. That's when things are really heat up. You can see some of the bigger companies, Goldman Sachs, a lot of the banks were reporting after the 15th, and that's when we really kick it off, second week of July from the trade exchange. So let's go ahead and look at some of the economic information that will be coming up for the week ahead, courtesy of the trade exchange, this nice interactive calendar that they put out each and every week at the trade exchange. So you can see in the red we have a lot of Fed speak coming out this week. Monday, really not too much going on as far as economic information, so Monday not much to worry about. But Tuesday, right off the bat, we get at 8:45 Fed speak from Jerome Powell. Very important there. Pay attention, be at your desks. Could make comments moving the market, and that'll be at 8:45 a.m. Eastern Time. After that, we get the JOLTS number at 10 o'clock. We get Redbook sales at 8:55 a.m. You get James Bullard speaking. You get other Fed speak later in the afternoon coming out. We do get numbers coming out of Japan and China on Tuesday evening. You get China PPI and CPI. You get the Japan PPI coming out. All measures of inflation there. On Wednesday, you have Jerome Powell. He'll be speaking again at 10 a.m. Prior to that, you get the MBA mortgage applications. You also get Fed speak coming out at 1:30, and then we get at 2 o'clock the FOMC minutes. So a lot of Fed action and information coming out this week for July 8th through July 12th. Thursday, you get Fed speak again. Jerome Powell. We also at 8:30 we get that CPI number coming out from the United States. We also get Fed speak further throughout the day. As you can see listed here in the red. On Friday, you get the U.S. PPI inflation index at 8:30 a.m. and then the Baker Hughes rig count. So once again, a lot of Fed speak coming out, a lot of comments here that could move the markets around, especially this one Tuesday, since we just had the jobs report on Friday. And as you can see, that war of words going on between President Trump and the Fed. So let's see if we get any kind of response or something that's going to move the markets at 8:45 a.m. on Tuesday, and then once again on Thursday and Wednesday. So a lot of Jerome Powell for the week ahead. Some unusual call activity that we had for the Friday. PAYX had unusual call activity. IYR, CBM, FL, NYT, JMIA, a recent IPO there. CG, NEM, ANF. To the put side, you had unusual put activity in Merck, MRK symbol there. Sum it up, we'll have another video out later on. It's Sunday at around 11:30 that I'm doing this video. I'll have a stocks to watch video coming up, some stocks to watch for Monday and maybe for the week ahead. You know, the SPY, you know, holding this 5 EMA right now. Bulls remain in charge. We're just a stone's throw away from 300 on the SPY. Like we mentioned, we do have a lot of Fed speak coming up, a lot of market moving economic information. In 2 weeks, you do have earnings season kicking off. So things could get real, you know, volatile in the markets. We'll have to see. But right now, you'd have to say bulls are in charge. Right now, as we hold above these momentum moving averages, you got the Qs that are very strong. Even the IWM is holding up very well. Did very well on Friday, holding above the 5 EMA. But we've been here before with the IWM. It can pull back and give fake outs. So we're going to have to watch that 155 area on the IWM to see if they want to hold that. The IWC, the micro caps, are trying to get it back above the 200 SMA, this 94 level, holding the 5 EMA. The low from Friday was $92.90. So we'll be watching that $92 area to see if they want to either move this IWC, the micro caps, further up, or are they going to break us back down? So that's some things we'll have to keep an eye out as far as markets. You know, we can get headlines. We still have the U.S. and China in trade talks, so that could affect the market and make it volatile if things don't work out. So any tweet, any headline could change the direction and momentum of this market. We'll have to see. And this is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com. Hope this video gets you more ready for the week ahead than you were before. Stay tuned for another video coming out in a little while. Stocks on watch. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll be back at it with another video.